Coming to you from the Black Swan Media Studios, this is Fireside Chats, talking to the real difference makers in the world. Now, here is your host, John Crump.
I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Take a little time off after Thanksgiving just to decompress, but now I am back ready to hit this thing full swing to fight for the Second Amendment rights. So I want to say hi to everyone out there, and I want to thank my guests coming on tonight. We got Perry and Mike from Warriors Revolution, an awesome company. We have Donovan, and we have the one, the only JDF. Tonight, we are sponsored by my Patreons and you. How can you help out? You can go to Black Swan Tactical and buy one of these cool Space Force shirts. Or I like this. Mike, you might like this since you used to run the Tyranny Tactical or Tyranny Response Team, whatever. But it's a little Jolly Roger flag that says "No Quarter for Tyrants."
Love it.
And they're all available on Black Swan Tactical. You can always go ahead and go to patreon.com or Trump, or just go to my little PayPal link, which I don't have. Okay, never mind. Here it is.
You have your PayPal link? Okay, there it is.
Yeah, perfect. There it is. It's just like a Super Chat, but with PayPal. Without those fees. Tonight we wanted to talk about something, but before we do that, let me check in with Perry and Mike. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Out here packaging ammo, getting ready to do some more gun shows. Finally got some time to go shooting. Just having a good time. It's a gun show life.
Yep. And how about you, Donovan?
I've been busy. I'm studying for the Security Plus exam.
Wow.
That one's not always fun.
I've got 2 college-level textbooks I've read in the last week.
Well, there you go. That should help you out. And JDF, how are you doing? JDF?
Doing good. I've actually had some downtime, so I'm going a little crazy, man. I haven't had shows, and by my choice. So I have working on a film. So I was supposed to be in Brazil this weekend, but we're working on a film called The Click Boom. So that's been keeping me busy. It's been 2 years ago since I've been to Japan, so I've been practicing the traditional way of tying a hakama and the obi belts and all that stuff, trying to keep the traditions alive. So I've been keeping my mind busy, playing, just doing the good old trigger control. Other than that, what else? Reading comic books, maybe? Reading comics? I don't know. That's my life.
Yeah. One of the reasons why we are doing this tonight is because you guys, Warriors Revolution, and you, JDF, are teaming up. Warriors Revolution is now your ammo sponsor, and they're going to be providing you with ammo.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I've been seeing you, Mike, every morning on the gram there. How's the weather, first of all, over there? I just want to know.
It is cold out here, but it warmed up just enough that we're full of slush now. That's the worst. It either needs to be super cold or warm.
Yeah, I agree.
In between, and you can't drive anywhere. And I got a funny little tidbit here. We had to go to the gun show last weekend, and the city came and plowed all the snow from the cul-de-sac into the driveway where we park our trailer. And we had a 5-foot wall of snow that we had to try and maneuver a 28-foot trailer around to get down to the gun show. And the city they were like, yeah, too bad. Too bad, so sad. So, but we did make it. We made it.
Yeah, I know, Jason, you are in Texas.
Yeah, hold on, guys. That's my fault.
It's totally okay. I'll go to Donovan. Donovan, you're in Virginia. Near Virginia Beach.
Yeah, I'm in Virginia. That's close enough.
Yeah. How is it down in Virginia Beach? We're getting a little bit of flurries up here in the northern part of the state.
55 to 60s and lots of rain. And by the Virginia swamp, I have one for sale. My backyard.
That's not good.
I even killed a snake in it earlier this year. So,
all right, let me go back over to Mike while we're waiting for JDF to get. Oops, I removed them from the stream. While we're waiting for JDF to come back, I watched a documentary called Rocky Mountain Heist. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not.
Which one was that?
is that about the incident at Loomis Fargo where a couple $1 million was stolen and they never convicted the guy?
No, it's about how Bloomberg kind of hijacked
the election out here.
The election, yeah. And the thing is, they talked about how that could happen in Virginia. And this was like back in 2016, like where Virginia's the next target.
Well, after the shootings out here, Bloomberg money and that, what is it? They have Safe Cities or I don't remember the name of their thing, but they pump so much money into Colorado, and they just made it. Colorado used to be a great state. It used to be a great place to live. It was mostly conservative, but it wasn't like a hard line. It was just easy to live out here. And now conservative is almost a bad word in most cities out here in Colorado, and it's don't even recognize the place, and it is. It's all from outside influence. I mean, we've had this.
How long have you been in Colorado?
Since about 1980.
Okay, so I'm a few years behind you. My family moved there in '95. I grew up in Lakewood.
Yeah, so I grew up in Littleton, not far from Lakewood. In fact, I lived in Lakewood for a while after I got back from the Marines, and so I know the area well. But it's not like it used to be. I mean, it's it's all outside influence. I mean, we have this influx of Californians that have come in because the housing was great out here. Now, housing is horrible out here. The prices have skyrocketed. Everything has. And then the legalization of marijuana out here I think personally has damaged the state too. I mean, it's they tell you all these great things that it's going to do, but it's jacked up the rent. It's jacked up everything. And personally, I hate driving down the street and seeing a billboard. It's like, hey, get a half ounce of pot for such and such amount of money. And everywhere you go outside of Colorado, people are like, hey, what are the dispensaries like? I don't know. I've never been to one.
Mm-hmm. And Jason, you lived in California, and now you live in Texas. So you went the opposite way.
Yeah. God, I tell you.
You moved to, yeah. So.
Yep. So Mike, sorry about the connection earlier there. But first, thank you on the ammo. We were talking about the ammo, and then all of a sudden I went to different ways. So thank you for that. I appreciate you guys. Lived in California pretty much my whole life, filmed over there. Everything we've had over there was props. I mean, just props, almost everything. I did shoot a lot over there. Just 9mm, all that other stuff. I didn't have all the other guns we have here in Texas, but I remember moving here and then going downtown to see the gun show, and I saw these people with guns, and I heard a lot of things about Texas, and I saw people coming out with gun shows, and I was like, oh, what's going on? Oh, they're having a gun show. So ever since then, I've been sold on Texas, except the weather. But other than that, yeah. And Texas kind of in the middle between traveling to, say, Comic-Cons or back to California to film. It's good neutral. You come here, it's like you get 4 times your money worth. I have a huge karate school here, about 8,000 square foot. I say huge, for me it is. 8,000 square foot compared to an 1,800 square foot school in California. And here I probably end up paying less for it anyway. The people are great. Like I said, the weather and the hurricanes have been kind of weird. But other than that, it's been good. And it's great for Second Amendment here in Texas,
We were actually just out in Texas 2 weeks ago.
Ah, man, we missed each other. Where were you at?
We were in Mesquite, Texas, at the Big Town Gun Show.
Okay, yeah, Mesquite. All right, that's good. I'm
moving to San Antonio in 2 years.
In San Antonio?
Yeah.
Yeah, San Antonio is. It's all right. I mean, I've been pretty much everywhere in Texas. I'm coming to Colorado, I think, for Comic-Con next year, so have to keep you guys definitely connected over there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good show. Colorado, it's a Comic-Con. We have Denver, and then we have another one, but I'm gonna have to. Oh, it's August 21st, 22nd, 23rd. I don't think I'm announced yet, but I guess everyone watching me, I guess I am announced. So
now you're announced.
Now I'm announced.
We're definitely now we have to go to Comic-Con.
All right, let's go.
We'll be there.
You got to come. You got to come to Comic-Con. I remember, the bounty hunter. What was it?
Dog, the bounty hunter.
Dog, yeah. He was at the Comic-Con with his wife, and oh man, it was so hectic over there. I think they had tasers, and they were like, the cops were like, you need to get the tasers out. It just was hectic over there. But yeah, I did a show. That was her first show. I know his wife passed away. She was really nice, but just random people at Comic-Cons, man. Just random people that I just run into, and some are hit or miss. But that stuck in my head, I guess, because it was a big deal with these taser guns. I don't know. But whatever, you needed to keep your taser gun. I don't know. But
yeah. Well, there was a guy that was going to try to kill JDF out at Comic-Con.
Yep, there was, man. And actually, I'm going to court. Going to court this month to finally put that on an end, I hope. And it's been about 2 years. And once this goes, I will. You guys, when you see the picture of what this guy carried, because I can't show it because it's still in court, but it's about to finally get there. But when I show people the picture, which I'll show you guys at first, people I show you, he had like a 45, a 9, a 357 full shotgun with probably 50 shells here, a knife, 4 ninja stars, taser gun, and some brass knuckles. So the guy was just he could barely walk and move. So I highly doubt, but he was waddling his way over to the Comic-Con, and that was in Phoenix. So I'm actually going to go there and finally put this aside. It's been 2 years, and it wasn't just Comic-Con. It's the people. I try to tell people all the time, it's not the martial arts belt you have. It's not the gun that you use. It's not because Comic-Con people are crazy. It is sometimes you have crazy people in certain areas, and that's kind of what it was. So Comic-Cons are obviously safe, but, this guy walked in with a shotgun, ammo everywhere, and you would think you guys would totally see that and go, oh, he's got a gun. So they kind of walked past like a lot of officers, and they didn't really see it. Could have been prevented. But other than that, I'm safe. Everyone's safe. And I think I put a Comic-Con safety alert almost on every con around the world just to have, security for cosplaying. Just know if they have a real gun or they don't have a real gun. It's simple. You know what I mean? And I don't think it takes a genius to see that. But yeah, that's going to come to an end this month. Probably.
Somebody said that's no match for a Megazord.
It is no, man. If I just had my Dragon Dagger, I'll tell you that. Match with me.
Okay, and Donovan, you have a question. Somebody wants to know if you're going to go to the VA beach meeting tomorrow. I guess there's a city council meeting.
No, like I said, I don't actually live in Virginia Beach. I live in Newport News, and I have already talked to, or at least tried to talk to, with the sheriff in Newport News. John, you've seen my message to them. Mm-hmm. Newport News has already come out and stated, at least the sheriff, that they will enforce the law. And after reading a few things online and doing a bit of reading of the current laws coming up, the red flag laws that are being put in place, they can be initiated by the police. And there was a state, I checked the county it was, but 98% of the red flag laws that had been put into place at that time had been done by the police, only 2% by family. So I have a deep-seated feeling after the incident in Florida. You remember with the prosecutor's wife, I think it was, that she used the police to go after the guy who disagreed with her on Facebook. I have a deep-seated feeling that at least here in Virginia, or at least in Newport News, that the sheriff's department would not be opposed to red flagging me just because I have a difference in political opinion down here. Who Democrats ran unopposed for the last 3 election cycles. So I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not sticking my neck out there on this one because they're willing to chop it off for me.
Nah. See, I don't think they're going to be willing to chop off my neck. I'm too connected with like attorneys. pro gun.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm a guy who barely makes who makes enough to support his family. Somebody goes to chop off my neck, I'm not playing with an attorney.
Yeah, JDF is pretty much safe out in Texas for now, but you
Yeah.
never.
Yeah, I'm just listening to everyone, and man, I got to tell you, back in the days, this whole social media thing can just magnify everything. It could make you or break you. And I honestly, I know this sounds terrible. I can live without social media. I think social media stirs up so much trouble for people. And I look back at 25 years ago being an actor. It was hard. I mean, you had to go in, you had to audition. Nowadays, you could just send something. You just audition from your home, kind of like this, so it's easier. So I think things like that, it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing for us. I feel that you could reach a lot of people through social media, but as you know, you always have those trolls, the keyboard warriors, the one that want to say that this is not the law and this happens. You always have it. So I think for me, a basic statistic rule on anything with even the Second Amendment rule, any rule in life, I have 25% of the people that will never like you. That's just the way it is. They will never like you. 25% of the people that will always have your back. Like John, you were saying your attorney is Donovan, you need to get one with it. You'd be connected to each other. You have 25% people that will always have your back. 25% of the people that don't like you, that maybe be convinced to like you, and then vice versa. So in a nutshell, 25% of the people are always going to hate. That's just the way it is. And I have to look at that through my social media. So I'm just listening to all the stories. You hear something that's completely not even true because of what we perceived through pictures, not really reading. Because as you know, when Instagram came, you could see a picture of something really bad or something really good. And then people all of a sudden put a label on it. And that's what I think people are doing is they're not reading in depth into what we need to do as people. They're just looking at pictures. And I'll be honest, I'm a picture guy. I'll go and I scroll. Once Instagram came, it was so hard just to show a picture. You could show a picture of a gun and quickly your mind will determine if it's good, if it's bad, where you're going to go. So your mind starts, I think, painting pictures with everything. So if we use social media as a good tool, I feel it's a good thing. But I'm just listening to Donovan. I'm listening to everyone's stories. I'm actually on a live stream that we didn't have before that's actually getting comfortable, which is pretty weird. People nowadays can just be lazy, right? But anyway, I know that's yes, we're safe so far, but I just wanted to throw my thing on social media as I'm staring at all you guys right now. Well,
Yeah.
myself, but,
I missed what that gentleman just said. There was a chat that came up in YouTube there, John.
Yeah, just basically talking about he contacted Newport News.
I see it now. It popped back up again. Yeah, Christopher, I go for it, man. I hope it works. But if you've been keeping an eye, especially in the demographics of Newport News, it's 7 cities, though the complete lower part of the peninsula. This did not make big news because it was basically squashed outside of Florida. There was a woman who used her husband's position, and I think it was the district attorney or some type of prosecutor. John, you had me looking into it.
No, she was.
I'm not frozen. Mike?
I'm not frozen.
I'm good. I see everybody but John. John's frozen.
I guess we'll just chat amongst ourselves.
I guess that's
okay.
Or we can go.
But anyway, so this prosecutor or this woman, she used her husband's position of power to force the police to show up in full SWAT uniform. This wasn't even like two guys showing up at the door against a guy who they even openly admitted after they kicked open his door that he hadn't said or done anything wrong. So, Chris, while I love the enthusiasm, I hope it doesn't go that way. But after seeing what Miss Lucas, the Virginia Beach representative, put out with the new HB 64, which is the right to freedom of assembly, where she wants to stop people from walking down the street with more than two people unless they consider it marching to intimidate others. there's a serious issue here, and Virginia Beach is a very terrifying place to be as it stands anyway, because just you can't. And for you guys who don't know, we have the Virginia Beach. It's literally the actual place. If you curse within earshot of a police officer in Virginia Beach on the beach, you get a $20 fine.
Man, I would be broke.
Look,
Mike would be broke. No,
I would. Well, have you ever thought about the other side of this red flags stuff? Is that with all the hype around it, and we're seeing it starting to come up in the news, that maybe that was actually part of it, was to silence and put gun owners, for lack of a better term, back in the closet, make you too scared to stand up, make you too scared to say anything. It makes you like a third-class gun owner, third-class citizen. Shut up, be quiet, because if you're too loud, we're going to come and we're going to take your stuff. And the thing is,
I wholeheartedly believe it.
Right. The problem is we can't allow that. I get where you're coming from. I'm not going to argue that. I mean, wife, kids, family, all of the legal problems that can come down upon you. But as gun owners and the millions of gun owners that we have out there, we need to stand together. And the saddest thing to me, though, is you have these like Second Amendment rallies and things in various states, and you get 200-300 people show up. That's not going to change anything, because when they have an anti-gun rally, they get thousands of people that show up, and it makes the people that are watching say, well, maybe they are right.
I just had this conversation tonight with a couple of the Liberty Report guys. VCLD, VCDL, our local firearms organization, love them to death. They do great work, but they give you a week notice. Now, of course, most of you guys are self-employed. I work for a company that requires 2 weeks to be able to get any leave that's non-emergency or family related. They're hosting
January 20th rally, Richmond.
Okay, but they're holding one next week, December 9th.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a Monday. A week's notice. They just announced it today. That's why you get 200-300 people, if less, because most of us have to work Monday through Friday, if not other odd days.
I agree with the work thing, but I think I'm not calling you out on this. I'm making a blanket statement.
Oh, I know. It's
complacency. Complacency is what is allowing our loss of rights. And it's not just the Second Amendment. We see it in the First Amendment. We see it in the Second Amendment. They're whittling away at the Fourth. I mean, and it's complacency, because Americans sit back, and as long as their paycheck comes, their internet works, and they can still check Facebook, everything's okay in the world. And so many people, although news and media is now forced down our throats on a daily basis, so many people have become so desensitized to it, they don't follow it. They don't care. They may see it, they don't care. And then there's too much of this thought of somebody else will fix the problem. Mm-hmm. Nobody's coming around to stand up for your rights until we all do it together. And we have to understand that every one of these rights are linked to each other. You let the second go, you're going to lose the first. You lose the first, you lose the second. As citizens, as patriots, and as people that deeply care about this country, we have to find a common ground. We have to get together, and we have to stop being scared of the consequences that are going to come down. And we need to stand up for our rights, because if we don't, we're going to lose them. And once you've lost them, it's harder to get them back. And that's what's going on in Colorado, and that's what's going on in Virginia right now. Now that we've got these ultra liberal politicians that are seated in there, they don't care. They're going to trample their way across your rights. And it's going to take years to recover from this.
No, I don't think it's just liberal politicians. I think it's politicians in general that want to take away your rights. One of the things that was always said is the hardest part of being in power is keeping power. And by taking away people's rights, I think that's a way to keep power. What we need is someone that will wear a green ranger suit, or maybe a white ranger suit, to come and save us.
Well, John, I tell you, and Mike, I was listening to what you were saying. And Donovan, I understand your situation with work and there, but that's kind of like, that's how life is. I think people sometimes just don't step up. And I'll be honest, there's time where, I was in the with two out there training, and there was a time where I just happened to post an AR, and the numbers on Instagram, some went up and some dropped dramatically. So I think sometimes people look at that and think, let someone else do it. And I think that sometimes people out there don't feel, it's kind of like, hey, you vote and you take care of it. And that's exactly what's happening, Mike, is it's starting to get harder for the people like you, John, Donovan, who are actually here standing up. But let's say maybe 4 out of 20 only stand up. But let's say the other, 12 really believe in what we're doing. But unfortunately, they're not standing up. And I deal with that in martial arts. I've been teaching martial arts I'm 46. I've been teaching it. I've been training since I was 4. And I've come across this with bullying, God, you name it. And so, going through the martial arts and teaching people to stand up for themselves. That's basically what it is. It's not even stand up for themselves now at the point where we almost have to be louder. As if everyone just stayed equal and didn't let it slip behind, people wouldn't be fighting so hard. And I think that's what's been happening in the martial arts. Someone comes, trains with me, I teach them to defend themselves, not with their hands, like with confidence and commitment, and taking that next step of standing up for your rights and saying, hey, look, you don't have the right to touch me. Don't get in my personal space. I'm not going to do anything wrong, but you don't have the right to touch me. Very stern way that I think people should do. People are scared. You go on Instagram. Chuck's a good friend of mine as well. I go there and I see him, doing the Glock and sponsoring the Glock, and he's not afraid. I mean, there's people out there that can help save, but only everyone's got to step up. And so now it's becoming a fight. I think if it was just consistent and everyone kept it that way, it wouldn't be so hard and such a struggle. So the people out there that are watching that will come forward to help out. That's it. That's all, and I think sometimes people don't. And that's what I teach in martial arts, is have the confidence, carry yourself, also take the action to protect your rights of the critical distance between me and you. And like you were saying, Mike, the amendments. And we're at the point now where everyone's starting. And that's what I was saying with social media. It could be a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, you can be persuaded so quick into something without hearing the story. People post, or people have a gun, don't know how to use it. It's false security that I'm safe. They have a Bible. They pray to God, oh, please, God, help me. But they don't understand the word because maybe they're not reading or understanding, the everything from gun safety to the word. And so if you don't understand the content, then what are we doing? We're just watching pictures and we're waiting for other people to help. And we all need to be superheroes, and we need to stand up for what is right. There's going to be people right now that are going to say that's not right, but it's our amendments. It's my right, our rights, and it is my critical distance. And you can't come into my bubble without consequences. That's how I feel.
Yeah, one of the things that I have noticed, because I go to a lot of these events when there's like a counter protest or 2 protests going on, like a Moms Demand Action protest. I go to the Moms Demand Action protest because it's part of my job description at the GOA. One of the things I find really interesting is when they show up to protest something, they roll up in buses like 15 minutes before the protest, or not even 15 minutes before the protest. They get off their buses, go up there. Pictures start being taken, video starts being taken, and literally within 15 to 20 minutes, they're back on their bus and they're going away, which is just crazy. I also want to bring in someone else who is a friend of mine. And his name is Roger Frame, a former Army, disabled 100% vet, also affiliated with Liberty Report. Hey, Roger.
How you doing, Bob?
What's up, Roger?
Yeah. Roger wanted to get in on this a little bit, too. But I'm going to get back to Mike. Hey, Roger, can you turn down your TV a little bit?
Say again?
Can you turn down your TV a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, Colorado went through a little bit of what Virginia is going through right now. How did you guys deal with it when it happened with new gun control bills? It seemed like they try to sneak those in.
Well, they very much were trying to get real sneaky with it. They did things like over holiday weekends. One of the worst things that we've seen here in Colorado is there was several amendments that were up for the vote, and they were voted down. Not necessarily gun control, but this is all kind of part of the same picture. And when the Democrats took over everything, they took over the House, the Senate, the governorship, everything. They then convened and just went ahead and passed the bills themselves through their vote. They just disregarded the public vote on these things. And so how that relates to the gun control stuff is they are not listening to the general public. The red flag law out here is a perfect example. Nearly every sheriff in the state of Colorado came out against red flag. They went down, they went to the hearings. They said, this is not good. We're not going to enforce the law. And the politicians in Colorado,
Sheriffs did.
They just
all the sheriffs did.
Yeah. There was two sheriffs that didn't come on and say that they were against it. But then what we saw happen is the votes for Second Amendment sanctuary counties. And I live in Weld County, and our sheriff out here, Reams, he's one of the most outspoken sheriffs for this, and they were one of the first counties to pass the Second Amendment sanctuary law, saying they're not going to enforce any of these gun laws that are coming down. You look at the 30-round mag ban out here. It was one of the dumbest laws that they put in place because it doesn't actually ban you owning the magazine. It bans the sell of the magazine, but it also doesn't ban the sell of the parts. So everywhere still sells them. We sell them as parts kits. There's been nobody in the entire state busted for this violating a 30-round mag law because the burden of proof is still on the state, and they can't prove when you bought, purchased, or acquired this mag. And even inside of the law, there's nothing illegal that says you can't go to Wyoming and buy them and bring them back. And when that law first went into place, some of the gun stores right next to the fireworks stand, mile marker 2, going into Wyoming, they set up a magazine shack, and you could go up there and buy some 30-round mags and drive right back across the border 2 miles into Colorado, perfectly legal. So how this is playing out, it's too early to tell. Red flag per se doesn't go into effect until January out here. And it's still not very clear as to how they're going to enforce it. The majority of the counties in Colorado have said they will not enforce it. The state attorney has said that they will arrest sheriffs for not enforcing the law. The sheriffs have said, fine, put us in jail. We don't care. So, I think the showdown's coming.
I want to go back to JDF for a second. The same group that did that in Colorado and also in Virginia is also making pushes into Texas. They're trying to use the same plan in Texas. Being from Texas, do you think that they're going to be as successful as they were in Colorado and Virginia?
No, I don't think so. I mean, this is Texas. I don't know. Out here is a lot different. I'm originally from California, like you said, so I'm kind of like in the middle. But there's like the 30-round mag or whatever. I saw Donovan laughing at that. It is like I have a friend, Terry, who trains me, owns the gun shop up here, law enforcement, and there's just so many things that you can get around, but it's making things more difficult. But I think that's just for this thing that we got going on. I think it becomes a little bit, maybe they're trying to do something, but they're making it worse for gun owners now to stand up even more, if that makes sense. Like, we're like, that's a stupid law, and then you have people coming out. So the fact is, like I was saying before, Mike, and to all you guys, like the people that stand up, sometimes we don't know who to stand up to. So I never had an outlet to speak about Second Amendments. I didn't have an outlet. I'm just, doing my own thing, guns, don't want anything taken away. So first of all, like everybody here, for giving me somewhat of an outlet to stand up, because this is something that I believed in, but sometimes you don't find the right outlet from the right people. But this is Texas. I don't know. There's something a little bit different just about everything here. And like I was saying with the taken away, you ask certain people, and then some fans don't know much about guns. So you ask them, so there's always like opinions on it. You can either convince or persuade them not to like it. So I want to educate some of my fans that are watching me that have no clue kind of what's going on to this stuff. I think a lot of people are lost in translation. And I know that you're asking me straight out, do you think it's going to affect us? I say no, because it's Texas, because every neighbor, everybody here is like this Texas. You find a gun in a church and a taco almost every corner. And I may say that I love Mexican food, I love the Texas, but you got churches and guns. And that's kind of California. I didn't have a lot of churches or guns. And sometimes people think they're not together. How many pictures do you take of a gun on a Bible? It's like, this is you know what I mean? This is America, man. And it's one of the things that I do believe in. So I want to thank you for giving me an outlet, because other than that, I'd probably just be in my office doing stuff, not really having an outlet or connecting with people. For you, for example, Mike, is the ammo. I can afford ammo. That ain't the issue. The point is connecting with people like this and helping people out on Instagram and being aware. Next thing you know, they see a box of ammo. They have no clue what's going on. They check your page. They check this and they go, really didn't realize what was going on. Maybe they're neutral. Maybe they're converted here. Maybe they're not. Maybe they believe in it, but they don't want to stand up. And maybe they simply just don't believe in it. So we have different people, different parts of the world, and I'm going to do what I can here. But I'm in Texas. Churches, guns, and tacos. That's what we can get.
Yeah, talking about Texas, I just wanted to announce tomorrow night at 10 p.m. I am going to have Stephen Williford on. If you don't know who Stephen Williford is, he's the dude that was the good guy with the gun that took on the Texas church shooter and in a gun battle with him and ended up stopping that rampage. I want to go over to Cowboy, then I'm going to hit up Roger after that, because Roger's in a little bit of a different. Let me hit up Roger first. We have three people from Virginia on, and we are all in like liberal type areas. Roger, I wanted to have him on because he's not. Tell us about the Second Amendment situation with the Second Amendment sanctuaries in your area, Roger.
Well, my specific area, I mean, they've already said that they're going to do a 2A sanctuary. So I've been focusing on surrounding counties. So I show up to all their meetings and all that stuff. And I've written their sheriffs. I put like almost 1,200 miles in my truck, making sure that I get to those meetings and stuff like that to show support and do what I need to do. But like whenever I talk to the sheriffs, I literally break it down for them, saying it's a numbers game at this point. I'm marketing and I'm logistics major, so that's all that I think about. So whenever you say, "Hey, we're going to serve 100 red flag warrants," well, okay, we'll say 2 or 3 of those are crazies, absolute, crazies. So your next meeting in the morning, you're 3 or 4 off because of what you chose to do. So, I mean, literally, the red flag laws it's not good news for anybody in that line of work, obviously. Yeah. So, how do you combat that with without being an absolute asshole, I guess you'd say. I never thought I'd be saying this with the White Power Ranger, but you know,
At least you said white, John. I'm green too, but some people know me as green and white. Just depends on which age group, I guess, you're from. I was both.
well, remember, I'm only 33, so I watched you during
White
both
Ranger.
series.
Yeah, that was probably the White Ranger time.
I always preferred the Black Ranger myself.
There you go. Now you're a little bit younger, Donovan. So we got the Black Ranger with Dino Thunder.
Well, I can tell you, my kids used to fight over who got to be Green Ranger.
Yeah,
And they had all the toys, and they fought over who was. I want to be Tommy today.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny.
it's funny when I said, hey, Mike, I got someone who might want to sponsor. Mike's like, well, okay, well, who is it? He said, the Green Power Ranger. And he was like, JDF? I was like, yeah. He goes, hell yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, that's good.
And by the way, your first care package shipped today.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. You know, what's funny about the whole Power Ranger stuff, because you have to understand, I took so much slack on that show from violence. So they would send me in to interviews, and most of the interviews at that time were straight. Okay, so some kids in Canada killed another kid. How do you feel about that? Those type of interviews. To the martial arts is violent and is this and that. And so I've been dealing with that my whole entire life without social media. And I sum it up to one thing. The violence, or whatever you call it, was created before movie cameras, man. Like that stuff, those people and that kind of stuff existed back then. And so it's funny when we talk about the Green and the White Ranger. I don't think a lot of people at your age understand those interviews are gone. I mean, I've been slammed left and right with the violence, and I meet some fans that go, "Yep, my parents didn't let me watch it either." So here we're going back to something like that. It just never ends. That's how I feel with what it is, but it does come back to people passing the blame, people thinking one thing and the other. And I remember them going on there. It's like me saying this: can guns kill? Yeah. Can guns be violent? Mm-hmm. Depending on who holds the gun. Is martial arts violent? Does it teach you bad things? First of all, you can't learn if you're not taught. So martial arts is not violent. If you actually do martial arts the proper way, then the world's going to be a better place with people understanding self-defense. So with my fans, I think one thing that's cool, it teaches safety on a gun. It teaches safety and people being aware of it. So it's just funny how things just never end. With the whole blaming this, blaming that, it's ridiculous. But I just thought about, I don't know why, when you said White Ranger Roger or whatever, I was just thinking about doing the movie interview.
His internet went out.
Oh, he's gone.
JDF, I have a question for you, and it's something that just popped up in my memory from, God, I think I might have been like 8. Did you once do a video karate movie, where you taught moves and stuff?
Yep. See, I was a martial artist before Power Rangers, and I taught martial arts, and I was around kids my whole entire life. So I figured if I can get an outlet, then I could really change people's lives. But it's like a cop in Gotham. You know what I mean? It just never ends. You got, it's one of those things where I have made a difference on people. And, but yeah, I was a martial arts teacher. I did the whole entire video. Ad-lib the whole video. That's like saying, Mike, do a class on gun class, and you do everything, and then a writer puts their name on it and says, okay, Mike, thanks, written by this person. You're like, what? Those are my lines. There's no possible way you could write that stuff. So yeah, I did the karate video, and it goes back to the White Ranger movie. I was called into an interview literally by someone saying that you guys are chauvinist towards women. Women only did X amount of moves where the boys in the Power Rangers did X amount of moves. And I'm thinking, if you're actually counting that stuff, what else is going on in your life? Because you should be doing something else besides counting certain moves. And I think that's the kind of people we deal with. So it's the same kind of people that you guys are dealing with now. Someone making a stupid rule, or the studio deciding to take our visors off. That's like, Donovan, you're laughing about that 30 round mag, and you're saying how stupid it was. We were all Power Rangers, and they made us take the visors off and our mouthpiece. So we're standing there literally like this, and we're all looking at each other. thinking how dumb this is, but it was someone's idea to do something like that.
I was laughing at it from the concept. I sold my dad a gun last year, and when he received it, it had 15-round magazines for it was actually a CZ75. So magazines very similar to this, and they aren't allowed to enter the state through an FFL as more than 10 rounds. So when my dad gets there, the CZ mags are taken apart into the magazine follower base and the actual shell itself. So I was laughing because they're right. You can't own them.
Yeah, I know.
When you can't buy them outright like that, but you can own them. He takes it home 10 minutes later. He's got them fully assembled and functioning. And 15 minutes after that, he's sitting at the range blinking shots with it. So
my friend Dice builds everything you can think of. And that's the same thing. He'll be like, okay, and go build it and they'll have it. So there's certain things that you can get around, but those are just obstacles, I think, creating this let's surround them with stupid things and then really take away what we need to take away. That's what it is.
And JDF, you hit on some stuff too, and it's what a lot of this comes down to. When you were talking about, some people look at something and they form their own opinion just off of a visual, or maybe somebody else told them how to think. When you look at a lot of these gun laws and ideas, you can tell they were written by people that have no understanding of guns. They were told all their life, or maybe something traumatic had happened to them at some point in life that has made them hate and fear what they don't know. And you see it all the time when these politicians stand up and they try, was it Feinstein? When you extend the collapsible stock, that's what turns into a lotto. And I mean, and gun owners sit there and they hear this and they're like, what? That's just crazy. But when you have the ability, like some of these politicians, that when they talk, millions of people get to hear it. Yeah. It's this disinformation campaign that's out here that's based off of no knowledge of the product in which they're
exactly. The word inside of the product. And I say that with sometimes people are sent out with false securities. Like, I'm very, very stern at my school. When you get a black belt, you're going to protect yourself. You're not going to beat no one up. It takes like 6-7 years to understand the content of what that black belt is. And there is a lot of people out there, a lot of black belts. At some schools you can get within 18 months. My school's like 6 to 7 years. So it puts a false security into people that, I'm a black belt now. And then also other people start thinking, this guy, or I'm a movie star. I've been training my whole entire life. So sometimes people don't understand the content. And that's what I was meaning about sending you out the false security of a black belt, sending you out with the false security of, there was plenty of times my dad would say, here's a gun. If someone breaks in, dude, plenty of times. But the problem is that I wasn't taught and understanding it. So before the people put in a dumb rule, or don't understand it, understand the weapon, understand what that is. And that's how it is with martial arts. We got that all the time. It's so violent. My kid on the playground is kicking people, and I'm like, that's the kid that needs to sign up for karate. So at least being educated into the product before making stupid rules. But that's why martial artists or gun owners look at it and go, so stupid, but then other people don't know it, but it's good to them. They start justifying why you shouldn't have the 30-round mag. They start, because they don't know about it.
Well, people look for something
like I was talking about earlier.
Well, you know what? One thing I just want to say, some of our comments aren't coming through. I noticed. So if we didn't mention you, or if you asked a question, we didn't get to you, it's because we're not seeing all the comments for some reason. But other than that, a lot of times it's a misunderstanding, or not or the person just doesn't understand guns. For example, Cowboy and I met a guy named Dan Gross. Dan Gross was the last president of the Brady campaign, and was the president of the Brady campaign for 20 years. He went out and he decided to challenge his belief system and took a couple shooting classes. And now back. You got to remember, he was the president of the Brady campaign up until like 2 years ago, and now he's actually pro Second Amendment because he went out and he took the time to meet with gun owners and learn about guns. Then he determined that, hey, guess what? Guns are not the problem here.
Yeah, it's just like Mike was saying. I think it's the perceptions or the stories that people can connect to. And this is just random, but when I lived in Los Angeles, we had like chases almost every day. Like I tune in, Tammy would be like, "There's another chase." I'm like, "Yeah, welcome to LA." There's chases all the time. And one of my dad's friend came over and said, "Hey, do you have cop chases in Texas?" I'm like, "No, we don't see them on TV." And I started thinking, like, I wonder why everyone in Los Angeles always runs from the police, like all the time, and it always ends bad. They always get caught. They cause some kind of commotion. It interrupts your favorite TV show, Power Rangers. No, it interrupts and breaking news. At that time, chases all the time. So I started thinking, like, I wonder what it is. I think it's just putting the concept in your head, living there, seeing it on TV all the time. So that means that if we're trained properly to a proper product that we do, then we can train and be educated. And I know it does not make sense what I'm saying, but in LA, we resort back to, let's run from the cops. Here in Texas, there's no chases, is because we don't have that thought all the time in our head. So that's the stories I think Mike's talking about is, I hear I hear something bad. So I'm not going to support that. It's the stories. And I just that it was just random, and my brain kind of works weird. But I guess we don't see chases, so obviously here people learn not just run from the law. It's always in Los Angeles. So taking that concept and putting the problem is how. That's the thing, is how do people get educated on a product? I mean, I have thousands of students around the world. It's through you guys, but you guys, the concept
Did Jason freeze up there?
I think he
did. If it's possible to jump in on that, there's a lot of ask on how to evolve from here, or like Jason was, or going off what Jason was saying. A lot of the how part of it is actually, in my opinion, is reaching across the aisle. Or there's something called preaching to the choir. And that's what most of a lot of people are doing. We're preaching to people that already understand us, already knows what we're talking about. It's time we start reaching across the aisle and bringing some of these people back onto our side.
Yeah. The reason why I brought Cowboy in is Cowboy almost got arrested for contempt today at a hearing for calling out a mayor. Tell us about that.
That was interesting. I can share first off, I live in a city of Roanoke, Virginia, and our city is probably one of the more liberal, not really liberal, but sort of liberal, you know what I mean, areas here in Southwest Virginia. They have been, the mayor, we were trying to have a Second Amendment sanctuary county meeting today, and after all the speeches got done, the mayor, who said we support the Second Amendment of our constitutional rights, he was also just passed today the Roanoke City, Virginia 2020 legislation that specifically said we will exceed all state proposals, all state legislation on magazine capacities, on carrying firearms and such like that. So when he said that, I sort of stood up and called him out on his contradiction. You can't say you're pro to a, and on the other hand say you're going to support the state no matter what it does. So next thing I know, everyone was leaving. I heard the mayor call for police officers in the chambers, and I didn't get arrested, thankfully.
Yeah, that's good. But Cowboy practices what he preaches. He drove 4.5 hours, because I can't drive right now because of a medical condition. So he drove 4.5 hours to give me a 30-minute ride to a 2A rally. That's one direction too.
Yeah, he worked me. He gave me a camera and said, "Hey, can you help me out here?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" So hours later, holding that camera, meeting a lot of great individuals there. By the way, that was really a great meeting. And to be honest with you, I am happy I did that. The 2A rally, November 2nd of 2019. John put me to work.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you made it on here and not in jail, cowboy.
Thank you, Jason.
Let me show you what it would look like if you were. It would be like this: one bar, grabbing the bar. Hey, let me out! I got an interview to do. Right. It's good. It's good. It's good to have people like that. And all I could say is that I'm not really preaching to the choir because my fan base is a really huge fan base. I have, militaries, police officer, people that, don't know much, but they read a lot of comic books. And the guy that, I was saying tried to kill me dressed up as the Punisher. So he got weapons as the Punisher would in comics. So it's just a random guy who it doesn't matter if what he's going to get. If my intent is to get you, then I will grab whatever I can. I think that it's just making things worse for them. It's just bringing out, the product stronger. People are stepping up like you guys, sticking up. I do believe that it's going to make the gun owner stronger, but only from people that are really like Cowboy and other people. There's a lot of people, like I tell you, I'm on the road all the time. All I can do is offer, what I'm doing here, pique someone's curiosity to say, well, my hero, Green Ranger, White Ranger, let me look into it. And then I will constantly, like I said, 25% will just not understand you. And that's in life. I don't know if you all have family, friends, but there are some people that just won't like you no matter what you do. So it's bringing out all the warriors here.
Yeah,
strong leaders in the warriors.
I want to hit up a couple things that Michael McCrae said. Basically, if your mom's not a fan of gun and she don't want you to get a gun and you live in her house, you're kind of trapped. But what you can do is take her to the range and get her educated on firearms. Let her shoot.
Find they're all over, but intro gun classes.
Yeah, I teach
a lot of these shops will do them for free for first-time shooters. They even have the guns there for them. Michael, that's my recommendation.
Yeah,
have a mom and Michael day and go down there and let the experts show you in a safe way. She'll feel safe and maybe get an understanding of something she doesn't know.
Up in Virginia, up in Northern Virginia, every quarter, every 3 months, they offer a free firearms class where you get your NRA certification and NRA basic pistol. And there's tons of groups that do that. But he also wanted to know how you got into martial arts, Jason. I didn't want to skip out on his question.
Yeah, no. I got into martial arts. I was walking by a window and saw an older lady at that time, which she wasn't old at that time. I was young, but she was doing martial arts, and that captivated me because a woman was doing karate at that time, and I just thought it was super cool. I mean, really cool. The girl who taught me how to tie the kaku obi was a woman as well. So I think there's a lot of strong women leaders out there, women that could take a gun class and convince her husband, who's not standing to learn about guns. But I was walking by and just saw this girl doing karate, and I was just captivated, man. And it wasn't just Bruce Lee, and that opened my mind, and it set goals. It just set goals. The goals never ended. Today I'm all over the place, and in karate the goals never end. I got my 8th degree 2 years ago, 10th degree, and then it's a full circle, and life just doesn't end. And I would say when Mike's saying take your mom to the gun range, I also skydive. I got like 1,400 jumps. I haven't skydived in the last year. I teach wind tunnels too. Sometimes people are just like, oh, gun. Skydive. I promise you, if they can just get into the range or jump out of an airplane, you would love it. And I think it all comes down to one thing: fear of that product, fear of doing something. So that's why I kind of live by the fearlessly. It's not foolishly, and it's fearlessly. There's a lot of people that took gun classes watching me, and they love it and respect it, and it's not like everyone's going to go out there and start, firing all the time, but it's something that you need to know, and it's good to know. And it's, it's defending you and your constitutional rights and your family. It's just the way it is. I don't know what else to say.
I would also like to say, don't put, your skydiving thing made me think of something. I've always wanted to skydive. And I put it off for this reason or for that reason, not for fear, but for other reasons. And now I have like 4 herniated discs in my back.
Yeah.
Now I can't physically do it. It's not for me to do it. And I always put it off, so I never got that chance to skydive.
Well, skydiving it's one of those, I train a lot in the wind tunnels and skydive, but let's be honest, it doesn't make a difference. I know it's talent and learning your body, but who cares? You're jumping out of an airplane. We're talking about something like, a pistol or a gun that can actually save your life. So investing your time, 2 minutes, 3 minutes into a skydive, or actually it's going to take probably 4 hours to get through your first jump. If you take that and apply it to go into the range, that stuff can actually save your life. Skydiving is cool, but we're jumping out of a plane, and yes, body awareness. So what I'm saying is, I think the public, we spend more time on things like, and I'm just using this as an example because I got stuff on my desk like comic books. A lot of my guys read comics and they look at stuff and they read the weapons, and then they want to be the superhero. But educate yourself. Go and check it out for yourself and see what it's all about, because life is not just comic books. And that, I'm speaking for my fans that are watching right now that might have that guns. Why is that like that? You heard a story or you just don't like it. So educate yourself, and that's the skydive. And everybody that comes down is like, oh, it's the best feeling. I've never had anyone walk out of there and go, a few, like, I did it. It was great, but it's not for me. And you can't really say that about self-defense. For me as a martial arts teacher, you can't just say, well, it's not for me. It has to be for you. It's defending yourself, and it's defending you guys that are serving us in a country. You guys are fighting for our rights. And it's something that you just can't say, like, I just don't want to. That's fine. It is what it is. But for me, I train myself all around because we live in a world that we don't know. And whatever the government has, I have. That's just the way it goes.
That's right.
Yeah, I think you and Mike see eye to eye on that, and I think that's why it's going to be a very successful relationship between you guys.
Yeah, and it's I think, Mike, I was thinking the connection between everybody, John, and everybody on here. It's the connection from here to post, and in between that post is this empty window of hopefully someone grabbing and being educated on what we're doing, because you're investing into the ammo. Like I said, I'm here for other reasons, but it's great to have someone sponsor, because then there's this connection that's blank in between that people might look and go, oh yeah, that's cool. I'm going to take my mom to the gun range. And that's kind of like what everyone's saying. I think if you could know what the product is, I guarantee those rules won't be set the way they are. It's just people that don't know the product. And it's not the product, man. It's you. It's the person. There's always it just gets me every time I hear that. I'm like, guns kill, dude, you. People through martial arts that we can go and just and do what we have to do, but we teach what? Self-control, understanding what martial arts is, and turning your cheek away from what it is. But there's a lot more turning your cheek away when you come into my home, and I'm clear on that. And I did post my conceal all the time. I've had it, and I never posted it. But at that time when that guy tried to kill me, I did post. People are like, I can't believe you, JDF, posting that you're carrying. I did, because I want everyone to know, don't mess with me. Any copycat guy that's going to come out there that's going to want to try to do something, don't mess with me. All my friends, everybody, just don't mess with me. That's my thing. And I think that's, for me, it was an important thing, because we're talking about my life, my family's life. I do want people to know, don't mess with me. That's just my statement and my honor and responsibility as, I say, a human, because I will protect anyone on this planet, because I'm that type of guy. And I know right now, you guys, Mike, you'd probably be the first one there before I even get them. But that's the kind of people we need in the world. is the superheroes, the good people that are trying to do something good, because that product will remain. I don't care, and it will remain. I don't care if you got it on the black market. You're going to make that product harder. It's just going to make it harder, and this is going to become a bigger and a bigger and a bigger thing. So it's bad what's happening, but if people stand up and people are educated, then we're going to win.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
So yes, I do believe you're right. We are going to win. Like down here, and again, Roanoke, I got a long fight ahead of me. I'm rallying people to the cause and trying to do a lot of different things on a lot of different levels. But in the end, we will win.
Yep, it's just battles, right? It's the war that everyone has to end. It's just the battles, the city over here, the little battles, but ultimately it's the war that we have to win. Sometimes we lose battles, but that battle will lead to another victory, which ultimately is the war. So that's what it is right now. Little battles are going everywhere, and some people might win a battle, but doesn't mean they're going to win war.
Yeah, absolutely. Tonight I lost the battle here in the city. We were trying to push for 2A sanctuary and such like that, and trying to get a certain phrase struck out of their 2020 legislation. And point blank, we lost. But this video of the speaker coming out is going around. The fact that the Democratic Party of Roanoke City called us 2A extremists is getting. Well, the next battle might be just something of a change.
Yeah, well, we are winning if you look at it. Right now, we have more constitutional carry seats than we've ever had before. Gun laws nationwide have actually gone in our favor.
Yeah,
and people don't realize that because the media doesn't want to.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. Paint a picture of just something random. I did see someone talk about Vin Diesel, right? I did Bloodshot. All right, we talk about not doing rated R movies. I don't, because I have a fan base, but this project came as Bloodshot. And he's a tactical guy. Vin Diesel's doing the film. It's coming out in February. I worked my butt off on this character for 3 years, and nobody knew what Bloodshot was. But the point is, it was acceptable to my fans because it was a comic book character that did bad things. But if it was a character that was not a comic book character, people will call me rated R and bad. It's just weird how the world works like that. So it's kind of like JDF won't do a rated R, but you did Bloodshot. It's called Bloodshot, and that character was created before. So right now, I think there's a lot of things out there that aren't created. There's not a lot of heroes, not a lot of stories, and you're right. I don't think that. I just read a story today. 2 older people were getting carjacked. An older man. I was out here in Texas, and you're seeing it all the time. There's a guy right behind me. The cops were out in my neighborhood. The guy broke in the house. 3 kids were upstairs. He just went for all the guns, broke in, took all the guns, climbed through the guns over the fence. The guns got stuck in the tree, because of slings. He couldn't get the guns, but this stuff's happening everywhere. And I really do believe that if people, that means everybody, believes that we take our stand, you're not going to get bullied around. And that's everyone here is not being bullied, but it's the people that are being bullied that can't come forward. That's the problem.
Right.
So educate them through stuff. Safe. You're safe. I guess you're safe. If they say and stand up, you're safe. Nothing's bad is going to happen to you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've been on for about an hour, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. I want to kick it over to Mike over at Warriors Revolution. Anything you want to put out there or say before we get off there? And I'm going to put up your Warriors Revolution little banner here. I think got it somewhere.
Well, obviously, I've got to do my shameless plug. Warriors Revolution is a full-service tactical shop. We have everything from gun parts to gear to tactical gear to ammunition. You can check us out at warriorsrevolutiontactical.com, or you can come by and see us in our store in Longmont, Colorado.
You got a good store. I like it. I see your stuff on Instagram. I mean, where's your? They can follow you on Instagram as well, right?
Yeah, Instagram at Warriors Revolution.
I'm following you,
and I'm just now learning the Instagram stuff. I'm
big thing, dude. It's a big
too far behind in social media, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
Jason, JDF is the Instagram master.
I did go and through your Instagram, me and Perry, and I said, man, this guy, we need to learn from him. How
he has like 3 of them.
Yeah. But I think that the secret to any businessman or success is follow your passion. Because if you're not to have a purpose and a passion, then you're not going to make profit. And I used to get to sometimes there's several actors out there, big actors that are just struggling at Comic-Con, and I'm out there with a bunch of people, and I take a selfie, and the actor said, "Oh, shameless plug." So I do believe plugging and doing what you do, because I believe it's not just. Honestly, I know it sounds funny, but it's not just a tactical shop where you can buy awesome things and awesome bullets. It's like a life skill. You might change someone's life when they walk in the door. And that's how I have to think of martial arts, is that every person that walks through the door, I change their life. Not everybody walks into the store or my karate dojo thinking they're going to get into karate. But when you come in my dojo, you're probably going to sign up. So I think that's just from the passion that everyone has. And so, man, I'm going to be a supporter big time. I'm going to promote you all over, not just because the box of ammo, Mike. I think just the message that everyone's here. And social media, like I was saying, Instagram started painting a picture. You didn't even have to post words. If you're, on a bridge and your friend says, "Where are you?" It's like, dude, did you not see my Instagram? I'm actually standing on the bridge. It saved people from being lazy and typing. So social media is a big thing. And I think that's how you preach to the choir. I think you preach through the Instagram, and you're going to have someone that just doesn't know what they're talking about, and they're going to end up, learning more. And then I guess they have to decide for themselves, is it right or wrong? But before you ask yourself, is it right or wrong? You have to ask the question to yourself, is it right or wrong to protect your family? I'm a martial arts guy. You cannot call me at school or anywhere and tell me about my daughter, about her getting her punching someone. If she got pushed and she had to defend herself, she needs to defend herself. I get it. I'm not that type of guy. So ask yourself, is it right or wrong to protect yourself? And it is what it is. I just feel that it's right. And I do have a training course on there. I will say you're not getting a black belt online. Let me tell you why I have that on there, is just to introduce you to karate. I want you to look at it. I want you to be introduced, and then I want you to go out and find a local karate school. I don't want you coming online and just training, although some people can train online, but it's like this. If you don't know anything about a gun and you watch Google and you watch YouTube, you might be educated a bit, but when you shoot it or you protect yourself, things are going to go down a lot different. So get your hands on the product. That's why I put this out there. We have thousands of students that belong to other karate schools that listen to me on what to do with social media, how to teach karate, and how to present a product to that customer or the student. I think presentation, it's all in itself. And earlier, and I know we'll wrap it up, but Mike, we're talking about
take your time.
I'm all tatted up, and when I walk in the airport, honestly, man, I'm the first one that they randomly pick. When I'm in a suit, nobody bothers me. So unfortunately, we live in that world of a 4-second judgment. So before you judge a gun for 4 seconds on Instagram, or before you judge anything, just look into it. Know what you're getting into before you judge it. I guess it's simple.
Yeah. Anything else you want to promote before?
No, man. I look forward to having me on here, and Mike, thanks for that. I'll be tagging you almost on every picture, and I just appreciate an outlet just to come and talk about, I guess, what you guys are here for and what you guys stand for. And I'm just here to let you know I'm going to stand for you and do what I can. And the good thing about social media is it's a big thing now. And I think that's how I can kind of educate. I just want to educate. I don't want to change no one's mind. I want to educate you on what it is first, so then you can make up your mind. That's just it.
This was like the second time I had you on here, and we haven't even touched on your poetry. We got to do that one time. I really do that.
No, I know these guys don't know about the poetry, but let me tell you, poetry is tough.
Come on.
Because poetry is tough. When you have to face your inner demons and look in the mirror and be vulnerable, it's the hardest thing to do, man. So when I started writing, I was like, oh God, I'm a karate guy. I'm doing this and doing guns, and I'm going to write about poetry and write about feelings. But our feelings need to be heard. And so it is tough to write about your feelings and to be vulnerable, and I guess to be honest to yourself. And so we all deal with it, but I would like to chat about that one day. I've been writing for years, and I guess I was too too afraid to release my poetry because of grammar. I was bad at grammar. I'm bad at grammar now. Mike, if I tag you, there might not be a period or a comma and stuff, but I don't care. I think emotion and the way we feel is a universal language. And that's kind of what feelings are, is a universal language. It's not about grammar. It's about the content, and it's about what you're talking about. So I tell people it's tough to talk about your feelings, because are you tough enough to look in the mirror and count all your flaws? Are you tough enough to let your guard down and let your walls down? Are you tough enough to suck it up? Everyone putting laws just to say, well, I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to listen and I'm going to learn about something before I judge. So it's a tough thing, man. But I'd love to talk to you one day about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you are my spirit animal, JDF.
I'm a Falcon Zord. Or it could be a dragon.
Yeah, I didn't really grow up with Power Rangers, so
yeah. I'm your spirit animal.
All right, and Cowboy, man, what's up? Anything you want to say besides I know you're going to say get involved locally, because that's what you always say.
Well, of course, I have to say get involved locally because grassroots community is what propels the 2A community. It's the basis of BCDL, which is the sticker over here, Gun Save Lives. If you have some questions about what that is about, please contact me, and I'll be more than happy to help with that. And, of course, we got you over here, John, GOA. Doesn't say Virginia down here, but it should. Both these organizations are very involved in our local communities here in the state of Virginia, with 2A sanctuary cities, getting the word out there, and methods. And just on that, I do appreciate you, Jason. Your message goes out there, reaches out to a lot of people, and I do appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming. I'm glad you're not in jail.
All right.
All right, and I want to say thank you for all our watchers. I am truly grateful for every viewer we have. If you want to join GOA, we have it for 25% off, which is $15 at gunowners.org/black-swan-media. Be sure to visit Mike at Warriors Revolution Tactical. JDF can be followed at JDFFFN, or you can go to Train Me JDF for his wonderful martial arts. You can follow me on Instagram at Real John Crump, patreon.com/John Crump if you want to help fund some of my projects like the 2A project where I gave a gun to a single mom, or you can also donate to PayPal, paypal.me/JohnCC. Probably going to be doing another gun giveaway to someone. My goal of the 2A project is to arm America one gun at a time. For non-gun owners, get them a gun in their hand, get them the training to use it, because training is very important. And tomorrow,
have you found a single mom to give the first firearm to yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, only one really made a video, so. But it happened to be in the same town, so that's good. Makes it easy. Also, I will be back with Stephen Williford. If you don't know who Stephen Williford is the hero of Sutherland Springs, Texas. When there's a church shooting there, he grabbed his AR-15, ran out with no shoes on, engaged the shooter, able to land some shots on the shooter. They had a high-speed chase going 95 miles an hour, and he was able to stop the rampage.
That's the stories people need to hear, man. Those kind of stories. I'm sure a lot of people heard, but and you were saying one gun at a time. You just never know who you're going to give that gun to. You never know what kind of social media power they have. You never know, so I believe that people will help you once you educate them. And if they're not in the social media, no problem at all. I just look at changing people's lives one at a time, one gun at a time is the way to look at it, because that will realistically, it's going to happen, and so that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do with the 2A project is to get one gun at a time to people who really, really need it. Low income people, single moms, single dads, people who can't afford it but really need it. People in bad areas and stuff like that. It's my little pet project, and all the money that I take in from Patreon and PayPal and stuff, it all goes to that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to get on that right now.
Yeah.
You sold me.
Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. And Jason, you're getting a nice AK. I was looking at some of the parts.
Yeah,
it's gonna
Can't
be.
wait for it.
It's very nice.
Green Ranger themed. Is that it, John?
I think so. I'm not really sure. Mario from Lee Armory is playing it very close to his chest.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for that. It's gonna be.
I'm gonna have to send him some 7.62 by 3.9.
Oh yeah, man. I mean this
yeah, no, I knew that was gonna happen. I was like, but John strategically put that right on the end, Mike. Okay, thank you, Mike. No,
don't worry, bullets here. We can keep you well stocked.
No, I know. Trust me, man. I follow you guys on the gram, and I just I think it's really cool what you guys are doing. I can't wait to come down there and check it out. Not just I'm into good people too. You know, when you have a good person, it makes the product 100 times better, and it's good to see that. It's the reason why I think going to Comic-Cons is people meet me, and I try to be just me. I don't give them what people expect. Now, here's the thing: people expect celebrities to be absolute jerks. So the problem in real life is that someone can start at a level 10, because they don't know them. We start at 5. So we have to actually get brownie points for people to say, you know what? You're not a bad guy. And that's what the gun community needs because of all the stories you hear about actors. We're not all like that. There are some, but we're not all like that. And it's just funny how the label comes with what you do. So what I'm saying is that you're good people, and it makes the product more, I wouldn't say enjoyable, but it's more pleasant, and so I can't wait to see the shop and come down there and, see the slush. The slush will be gone by the time I get there.
It'll be gone. And we get down to Texas 5-6 times a year.
Oh, okay. Mike, when I was in Vegas and you were in Vegas, I had no car, and you guys didn't come by and say hi.
We wanted to. We got swamped at that show. Now we're usually in Vegas 8 to 10 times a year, but you were at Red October. And we were at the complete opposite side of town. We weren't even in Vegas proper. We were at, I don't know what they call it, Paradise or something like that. It was. I
gotcha.
So,
yeah. John, the thing here is that what he's trying to say is he can't teleport. If we could teleport and just appear, life would be easier. But
that'd be really nice.
Happen this time John goes across country to one of these excellent 2A adventures. He needs to bring me along. That way he can have transportation.
Now, John, are you out at SHOT? Are you going to be at SHOT?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll meet up at SHOT then.
Well, we were at SHOT like last year, and I was like, hey, I messaged you. I was like, hey, where you at? And you never responded. I'm like, man.
It's the reception, John. It's the reception, right, Mike?
Dude,
I've been terrible at this convention
years.
Okay.
Never actually met him in person.
We're going to make it a priority to meet up at SHOT. We will be at the Army Navy Military Expo the weekend before SHOT, and then we're at SHOT. So we will meet up out there.
Well, I'm going to be staying at the Venetian, so there's no excuses.
But we
now
time we're over at Circus.
Okay.
Man, I used to go there all the time as a kid.
Yeah,
I love Circus.
Yeah.
You know what I used to do as a kid? My dad would decide. I don't know. My dad would say, "Okay, here's $5 for the video games. You have 2 choices. I can either put $5 and play craps, and you have a chance to lose, or you could play video games." I was the guy that said, "Pops, do the craps." And I tell you, most of the time I won, but it was that risk. It was that chance. And sometimes I'd look at my dad's face across the crowd, and he'd go, and I would go, shoot, man, there goes Donkey Kong. But hey, life's a risk. So that was me. Circus brings back memories. I don't think they're 25 cents anymore.
I mean, the arcade there was, when I was a kid, we didn't have Xbox and PlayStation.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You went to that arcade and it was like, wow.
Yeah.
You never saw that many games in one place.
What the hell are you doing, cowboy?
I got a dog that says Warrior won't be able to meet up with you at the SHOT Show.
Oh,
That's the Bitcoin. He's trying to show you some Bitcoin right there.
I'm gonna put $20 on it then. We'll meet up.
all right. I'm at the Venetian where SHOT is held, so no excuse.
No excuses. And my favorite restaurant is right next door. Is Margaritaville. We'll get down there. We'll get some volcano nachos.
And see,
So that's 20. Make it clear, Mike, because my dad used to say, "I'm going to give you $20." And I'd always win, and he'd tell me, get on his back, and he's going to give me $1. And every time my dad would say, I said, okay, so are we talking dollars? Or are we talking
$20?
All right. I would pay you 20 to watch John $20 off your back.
Cowboy $20. That's
All right.
the deal.
All right, that's good. Yeah, I'm at the Venetian because I write, and when I go to SHOT, people think that it's some type of you must be having a vacation out there and whatnot. It's like no. Just like in October, I go and I end up writing, so I don't get to do really very much from.
You're in Vegas. It's so wonderful. You must be partying. No, it's work. SHOT Show's work.
Yeah, I know. It's like Comic-Cons for me, dude. When you guys come out to Comic-Con, it's work, man. Like people want to hang out. It's so hard. It's like I got so much going on, although I'd make a point to hang out with you all. But when people that come from convention circuits and you come to a Comic-Con, it's the same thing. The SHOT Show. I mean, maybe not as big, but New York Comic-Con, same thing. It's huge. Bryce told me about it and said it's like a Comic-Con for guns and all that stuff. I've never been there, but yeah. I mean, it's probably like if you've never been to a Comic-Con, it's like your first con, probably coming to New York Comic-Con. So it is probably like, New
York Comic-Con.
Oh God, everyone loves that. And then Comic-Cons we have in Colorado, which is good, a good thing. It's not a New York Comic-Con, but you have the same people, the same vibe. Maybe instead of 10 X-Men comic books, you got 1, and it's just as good.
Well, the only bad thing about New York Comic-Con is the main room you basically have to camp out in.
Oh yeah. Good luck walking in that place. I mean, it is packed. You need more than that time. I'm sure at Comic-Con or SHOT Show, you probably spend all your money by the time you even get down to the third aisle, So if you're like, oh, okay, I'm done. But if you learn how to do them right, you're going to look and maybe wait till the last day to get a deal, or you're going to take a chance that product that you're waiting for the last day is going to be gone. So that's what makes it interesting in New York. It's like, are you going to wait to try to drop prices on Sunday, or are you going to get it on Friday? And so it's good fun. Everyone's there is for that reason, but I'm sure it's a lot of competition. We got a lot of comic book shops, 10 of them in a row, and it's not about the price. It's about people.
Yeah.
In my booth.
I walked into the wrong room at New York Comic-Con, and it was like a Voltron form, which, I like Voltron, but I'm not a huge Voltron fan. But like everyone in there got a ticket to win this huge one of a Voltron model thing.
Dude, we stole Voltron. It's kind of like Power Rangers, kind of like a Voltron-ish type of thing.
Yeah,
Voltron was my thing when I was a kid. I had to rush home to make sure I could see Voltron that day.
Well, I won this like custom-made Voltron toy made by like officially licensed. It was one of a kind. It was the prototype, and I won that. And I ended up paying for my whole trip, everything, my friend's trip, and everything by selling on eBay. But those are
the things. I
was watching the Toys That Made Us on Netflix.
I just watched that too.
Did you? That's a lot of people. I was traveling to go on there, but I know they used the Green Ranger front cover to talk about toys that made us. And it's the Green Ranger. So everyone was like, "Where are you? Are you in it?" I did that Pop Funko thing on Netflix too, and I had to actually film in my house because I was just on the road all the time. But then I did the Toy Hunter Discover or something like that. But man, I mean, I don't think you always go back to your memories, and that's why Power Rangers, I think, is what I'm doing out there is such a wow factor because people are like, "Whoa, dude, I grew up with you," and you're like, it's just crazy to hear that. They're like, "Well, I hate to make you feel old, you know. And I'm thinking, I'm not you. You're old too. We're all getting up there. What are you talking about? But it's good though. It's a good thing.
And to answer Chris Shoemake's question, that new shotgun you'll see after SHOT Show. Sorry. Shotgun that I've had for damn near like 9 months now. But I'm under embargo and announced until SHOT Show. It's not even like they're going to announce it, show it off at SHOT. They're not announcing it at SHOT Show, so I can't say about it. Besides, I got a shotgun that I can't show until after SHOT Show.
Yeah. All right.
So that's
good.
Well, John, man, I appreciate you having us on. Jace, great meeting you here.
It's good seeing you too, man.
We're going to do some great things.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate John and the hookup and anything I can do for you guys, including autographs. If you guys need anything, my friends are always the last people to ask because they don't want to bother. I'm saying right now, write a list, send it to me. My system will ship it out. It's that easy. I go to restaurants. People ask. I'm like, give me your name and I'll ship it. And I went to go eat today, and the girl came up to me. I was thinking, I hope that mailed. She goes, oh my gosh, I got your autograph in the mail, and it just made me feel good to actually say something and do. And that's the type of person I am. So my friends are really, I don't want to bother them, but let me tell you, 1,000 other people I don't know bother me, and it's not a bother. So if you need anything, let me know. Write a list, because when you tell someone, they're going to be like, dude, you didn't hook me up, bro. Where's my autograph? So I usually give like 10, because then they give a few out, and then they wait for their friends to go, man, I'm never talking to you. And they're like, well, you want one of these? All right, never mind. So if you need anything, honestly, let me know. I mean, anything I can do, even for your charity. I know I'm coming out there in April. I'm going to try to, raise some money, try to bring some fans out there too. So if you guys need anything, I'm happy to sign something. I just don't force it down, like, in case you don't want it.
All right, Mike. I'll see you later. JDF, I'll see you later.
All right, guys. Thank you, Mike. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You've been watching Fireside Chats with John Crump, a Black Swan Media Group production. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tune in every week for a conversation with the difference makers in the world.